Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite internet tailor here again, back again with another video. Today it's a very straightforward, simple, quick and fast illustration. Guys, this design by Vicky James. Vicky James is just giving us back to back poke. She's a very phenomenal Nigerian designer, and she made this beautiful red outfit that we want to analyze and illustrate in this video. This is a very beautiful red lace fabric. Okay, yeah, so this is a lace fabric. From the picture, I don't know if the one they used for the corset part of this gown is same material, like it's same fabric as the one they used for the skirt part of this gown. To me, it's looking like it's different lace fabrics, and this is something Vicky James can do. She's a very phenomenal designer. So sometimes she matches same color but different prints, okay, different design patterns. So you have to look very well to know whatever is going on there. But one thing I can tell you for sure is the lining for this fabric is not exactly red. They use something like skin tone to line the lace fabric, so it's giving more like skin. In fact, the line is looking like it's a little mercury, because somehow it's blending into the red fabric, somehow it's not blending into the red fabric. If you look at it, you'll be like, is it her skin? No, it's not her skin. I think it's lining, but the lining is not red. Okay, so lace fabric, skin toned lining. Okay, I'm not sure the fabric for the blouse and the skirt is the same thing. So you guys know that whenever we do style analysis, I like to divide the style into two parts. So for this outfit, I'm going to divide it into two parts. Okay, the blouse part of this gown and the skirt part of this gown. So let's just look at the blouse part of this gown. Okay, now this blouse is a turtleneck blouse. You guys know that when it comes to making a gown is just a blouse and a skirt joined together. It gives you a gown. Okay, so let's look at the blouse part. The blouse, looking at it, is a turtleneck blouse. Okay, so if you'd ask me, I'll tell you that the neck width for this gown, if you ask me my own opinion, is around 3 inches. Okay, then the neck depth is around 2 inches, if you ask me. Yeah, if you ask me, I'll say the neck width is around 3 inches, while the neck depth is around 2 inches. Okay, you know, after joining, probably that's when they went ahead to attach that turtleneck mini collar going on there. Okay, if you ask me. Now for the blouse, this is a corset blouse. Okay, you guys know that it's corset season. Nigerian designers have shown corset away, as in like they've modeled corset, they've redefined corset's destiny, and every single time someone makes a corset, it comes out more beautiful, especially Vicky James. Now the model who is wearing this outfit is Osaz Igudaro. Okay, that's the model who is wearing this outfit. The designer is Vicky James, like I've said over and over again. She's just a phenomenal designer. You guys can check her out on Instagram. Yeah, so it's a corset blouse. Okay, now this corset is not just like the normal corset. It has a deep neckline. Some people call it insert, some people call it plunge, but what it has a deep neckline. The neckline did not just, the v-neck did not just stop here, it went down to around the under bust point, or just above the under bust point. Okay, so this is a corset blouse. It has a turtleneck line. Okay, now let's look at the sleeve. This sleeve, initially when I looked at this sleeve, I was like, is this an exaggerated cap sleeve? I'm like, no, this is a modified puffy sleeve. Okay, and guys, structure sleeves, they are here to stay, especially when you have events, when you want your outfit to stand out. Structured sleeves, they are here to stay, and this is just a puffy structured sleeve. When we go into the illustration, I will show you how to cut this corset sleeve. Okay, this structured sleeve. Right now, so at this outfit, we have the long sleeve, and the long sleeve is just a basic shirt hand. Okay, if you don't know how to cut a basic shirt hand sleeve, I have a detailed tutorial here on this channel on how to cut a basic shirt hand sleeve. Okay, just a basic sleeve. Some people call it shirt sleeve, just a basic sleeve. How to cut a basic sleeve. That is the sleeve on this blouse. Okay, now one thing, I digged around her page, and something I noticed was the sleeve, this structured sleeve, this structured puffy sleeve, it's detachable, because when I saw her placing it on the model, it wasn't attached, like the basic sleeve was already attached already to the gown. Okay, so this structure sleeve is detachable. It's something that can be removed. It's something that can be, it can be removed, it can be added back depending what you want. So there's probably maybe press button or a hook and eye somewhere, so that this sleeve, apart from putting it on the shoulder, it can properly sit firmly on the outfit. Okay, so something you should be at the back of your mind is that the sleeve is detachable. Okay, it's a detachable sleeve, and they just created it, and it's something that you can just attach and take out. Now, because she didn't want like a break in synergy between those rhinestones and the sleeve, she also attached some patches from the lace fabric on the sleeve, so it will look like the sleeve was attached to the gown, but in reality it wasn't attached. So the back of this outfit is the standard, lacing that we do for our corset. Now the skirt part of this gown is a mermaid skirt. Okay, it's a mermaid skirt with a godet at the back, right? The front is the basic mermaid skirt. It can be, you guys know how they cut this exaggerated mermaid skirt. Okay, I think I'll do a detailed tutorial on this channel, but looking at it here, it's a mermaid skirt. Okay, if you don't know how to cut a mermaid skirt, I have a detailed tutorial here on this channel on how to cut a mermaid skirt. Now the back part of this skirt, has a godet. The back part of this skirt has a godet, and I'm going to show you guys shortly how to cut the godet. Now the back part of this skirt has a zip. Okay, of course it has a zip so that the model can go into the dress, or the owner of the dress can enter the dress and come out of it easily. So for the skirt, I'm starting with the front part, and I have my paper on a fold. So at the top there, I marked my waist. Okay, I marked my waist, and I came down by 8 inches, and I marked my hip point, and I'm just going to go ahead to mark the width of my hips. Now I'm working with cm here, okay, because this is a paper. When you are drafting yours, work with inches, which is like your own measurement. Okay, so I'm going ahead to mark the length of the skirt, and I'm just connecting the waist to the hips. And for the hem, what a lot of people do is they step the hem down they step the hips down by 1 inch when marking the hem. Just do what works for you. So now the next thing I went ahead to do was to get the center of the entire length of the skirt, and I'm just going to mark my midpoint there, and from there I'm just going to draw my flare extension. Okay, just like that. So this is how easy it is to draft a mermaid skirt. This is the front part, and the next thing I went ahead to do was I just cut it out. Okay, if you don't know how to cut a mermaid skirt, I have a detailed tutorial here on this channel on how to cut a mermaid skirt. So now moving to the back, I've gone ahead to draw 1 inch zip allowance for the back. Okay, now you're just going to transfer everything in the front to the back. This is what we have here, guys. I've transferred everything in the front pattern to the back pattern. Now let's move over to the goddess. You're just going to fold your zip allowance in like that, and at any point on the skirt, depending on how wide you want the goddess to be, I marked it at the hem, and I'm just going to draw a triangle to connect it to that point that I made. Okay, so this is what we have here, guys. So after doing that, the next thing I went ahead to do was to cut out the triangle. Now this is what you are going to cut that sharp edge off. Now this is what we are going to be working with to create our goddess. So on a fold, okay, from like the middle of this paper, I'm just going to draw a straight line. First of all, you're going to take the length of the triangle. Okay, the length, that triangular line, not the straight line, the length of that triangular line is what you're going to take. So at the midpoint of your fabric or your pattern paper, you're going to mark that point. Okay, so I'm going to take the length of my goddess at that point. Now remember that this goddess has like this high-low effect, so I'm going to make this fold point longer. Okay, the length is going to be longer than the midpoint. Okay, and after doing that, I just used my French curve and I gave it a good joining line. Okay, you can see that we have a high-low effect for the goddess. And the next thing I went ahead to do was I went ahead to cut it. This is what we have here, guys. Now the next thing I did was I just gummed it to the paper so that you guys will see how it looks. Okay, so after gumming it, I had to shade it so you guys will see the difference. This is what the back part of this skirt looks like. You can see it's very simple and easy to cut. Okay, so this is the back, and the front together. Remember that the hem has some what is it called, some crinoline, so you want to add crinoline to the hem of this skirt. Okay, so this is, now we're moving over to the blouse. So from the middle, I'm just going to take 3 inches for the neck width, and I'm going to take around 2 inches or 2.5 inches for the neck depth. So after doing this, the next thing I went ahead to do was I marked my shoulder point. So after marking my shoulder point, I drew it down. I went ahead to draw out my bust line. Okay, my bust line. So after drawing my bust line, I drew my shoulder slant, and I just inserted my armhole curve. Okay, so after inserting my armhole curve, the next thing I went ahead to do was I drew my bust line, my nipple point, and my under bust point. Okay, now what I'm just doing here is I'm just drafting a basic corset. If you don't know how to draft a basic corset, just look at what I'm doing, but I have a detailed tutorial here on this channel on how to draft a basic corset. Okay, so it's just very simple and straightforward. I'm connecting my nipple point to my under bust point with a triangular line, and at the top there I'm going to take 1 cm on both sides or ½ an inch on both sides, depending on what you are working with for your pattern. Okay, so after doing this, the next thing I went ahead to do was from the middle I gave a distance of 1 inch, and I just drew my corset cup and on both sides. Okay, so this is what we have here for the corset cup. Now from that point, I'm going to go in with about 1.5 inch. Okay, and at the top I went in by 2 inches, and from there I'm just going to draw the plunge. Okay, the plunge, the deep neckline, whatever you call it, I've drawn it, and that is the line there. Okay, I went in by 1.5 inch at the bottom, that's at the nipple point, and at the top I went in by 2 inches. I've gone ahead to mark out my measurement and my allowance, my sewing allowance. So this is what we have here for the front part of this dress. Okay, this is what we have here. You can see it's very simple to cut. I went ahead to cut it out, and this is what we have here, guys. I told you it's simple. Is it not simple? Okay, now for the back part does not have zip allowance, so we are just going to start straight out with our measurement. So that is the 3 lines is my bust point, my dart point, and the hem of this blouse. So from the middle I'm going to mark 4 inches. At the top I took 1 cm on both sides, and at the bottom I took ½ an inch on both sides. Remember, I'm calling the right measurement so you know what you are working with when you are working with your paper. Okay, the bigger paper. So after doing this, the next thing I went ahead to do, I'm just showing you guys, the next thing I went ahead to do was I marked out my measurement. So I took my bust measurement, my under bust measurement, and my waist measurement. Okay, so after doing this, I went ahead to add 1 inch sewing allowance for the pattern. Okay, now the next thing I went ahead to do was at the top I marked 3 inches for my neck width. Okay, now you're going to connect that neck width to your bust line. Now this is sort of like a triangle, so you might mark your neck width at 3 inches at the top, but at the bust line you might mark it at maybe 2.5 inches. So the next thing I went ahead to do now was I marked my shoulder point. Okay, and I inserted my armhole curve. Okay, so for the back, remember that the back has before I bite my mouth, the back has an opening for the lacing of your corset. So at that point, at the bottom I just marked 1 inch and I connected it to the bust point. So this is what we have here, guys. You're going to cut out that shaded point. You're going to cut it out because that is where the corset is going to be open for lacing. So this is what the back part looks like. It's very simple to cut, okay, to draft and to cut. So for the sleeve, I'm going to fold my paper into 2 like that, and I drew out my desired length of sleeve. You can work with 8 inches. So from the center I marked 5 inches at the top and at the bottom, and I drew a straight line. Okay, so I drew a straight line. Okay, so I want to start inserting my sleeve curve. Okay, but then I drew like a straight line so I'll know where I'm starting with. Then you guys know how we draw our sleeve curve for puffy sleeve. That is what I did here. If you don't know how to draft a puffy sleeve, I have a detailed tutorial. Check the link in the description box. So from that point I just drew, I was marking the width
of my that's my upper arm, the width of my upper arm and circumference of my lower arm. I was just trying to shape the sleeve basically. It's not like it mattered at that point. And from the middle I just drew a slanted line like that. As you can see, I drew a slanted line like that, and after doing that I just went ahead to cut it through. Okay, so after cutting it, this is what we have here, guys. This is what we have here. You can see how the shape of the sleeve is. You know that at that point you are going to put some crinoline and some boning to give it structure, to give it weight, okay, to give it this standing effect. Okay, now I went ahead to gather the sleeve, to gather it with, and this is what we have here, guys. This is how to cut the sleeve part of this outfit. Okay,
so you guys have seen how to cut the blouse, how to cut the skirt, how to go ahead to cut the sleeve. So to sew this tie, the simple thing you have to do is go ahead and attach the pieces of your front part together. If you don't know how to sew a corset, I have a detailed tutorial here on this channel on how to sew a corset, so you can just follow that tutorial, you know, to join your corset and all those good stuff. Okay, now after sewing the front part of the corset together, you attach your lacing, you do your eyelet opening, do the lacing, you also sew the skirt part of this gown, then you attach it to the blouse. You've not attached, at that point you've not attached your rhinestones, your patches, your decoration, all those anything, you've not attached it. You attach your sleeve as well. Okay, then you call in whoever owns the dress for fitting. If it's for you, you test it on yourself, then you begin to attach those applique, your stones and everything in the right places, because your model is the best person to attach those things on. So when you applied it on her, you've done the right fitting, then you go ahead to put the sleeve to see how it fits. You would now know where to put your press button, where to, you know, attach more rhinestones, attach more other, but trust me guys, once you get the cutting of this dress, the sewing is just a piece of cake. So if you don't know how to sew a mermaid skirt, I have a detailed tutorial on this channel on how to sew a mermaid skirt. If you don't know how to cut a corset, I have a detailed tutorial here on this channel on how to cut a corset. I've shown you guys an illustration of this dress, how to cut it, I'm explaining how to sew it. So guys, this is just the easy way to cut and sew this dress. If you enjoyed this video, do make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that whenever I post a video you get notified. I'll see you in my next video, which is tomorrow. Bye guys.